Seperti kaprodi saya, itu kan merupakan anak atau keluarga dari rektor sebelumnya atau pendiri kampus. Ditambah wakil rektornya itu masih saudara. Halo semuanya, tresnaning atiku, Mas Hakim, Semos, Bunda Evi. Ntar lagi kita mulai ya. Insya Allah kita mau mock test listening. Teman-teman yang mau ikut latihan boleh siapkan laptop atau apa ya, selembar kertas sama pensil ya untuk menjawab pertanyaan yang ada di sini. Erwan Darussalam Adiwel. Seperti kaprodi saya, itu kan jam 7 tepat kita mulai ya. Insya Allah nanti setelah kita latihan ngerjakan soal-soal yang ada di sini itu apa, kita bahas ya soal-soalnya. Dan selama kita ngerjakan, saya nggak bisa balas komen, nanti kolom komentar saya tutup. Jadi teman-teman yang mau ikutan belajar silakan ya. Saya punya akses sampai setidaknya 22 hari ke depan ya. Jadi makanya ini saya kebut sekitar saya kebut lah istilahnya. Mungkin sehari 2 kali saya live dan latihan IELTS ya. Jadi teman-teman yang mau belajar bareng silakan disediakan waktunya untuk mengikuti live saya setiap hari ya, setiap hari sampai 22 hari ke depan. Nah, itu insya Allah setiap pagi jam 9 dan malam ya jam 7. Dan kecuali Sabtu Minggu itu saya pagi kan olahraga badminton, jadi mungkin kira-kira jam 10-an lah. Pokoknya setelah saya olahraga ya. Kalau bisa tepat jam 9 ya jam 9. 4 menit lagi kita mulai. Saya masih ada jatah. Jadi saya dikasih jatah kira-kira 25 kali mock test, teman-teman. Dan mock test itu ya full test ya, dari awal sampai akhir sekitar. Ya kalau listening sama reading itu 40 soal. Terus kalau speaking ya ada 3 part gitu ya. Kira-kira 20 menitan gitu. Kalau writing ya sama ya. Cuma yang writing agak aneh sih. Harusnya dikasih waktu yang pas ya. Jadi task 1 itu kan terpisah. Kolom task 1 sama task 2 itu, jadi kalau mau mengerjakan task 1 itu start dikasih waktu 60 menit. Harusnya kan 20 menit. Nah, nanti di bawahnya ada kolom untuk task 2. Nah, waktunya juga itu waktunya juga 60 menit. Jadi kan totalnya jadi 2 jam. Ini mungkin untuk British Council dan pengelola untuk website ini mungkin bisa diinikan lagi ya, diperbaiki lagi. Dan juga terutama apa ya, kalau yang writing ini kayak terpisah gitu. Jadi setelah mengerjakan task 1 kita selesai, ganti ke task 2, kita start lagi, mulai lagi. Harusnya kan langsung ya, begitulah ya. Sebentar lagi kita mulai teman-teman, 2 menit lagi. Untuk listening waktunya sekitar 40 menit ya. Jadi silakan teman-teman menyediakan waktu selama 40 menit ke depan untuk belajar bareng. Sekali lagi, ini website yang dimiliki oleh kayaknya British Council ya. Jadi tulis alamatnya Study IELTS Flex gitu. Dan ini berbayar teman-teman ya. Jadi untuk bisa mengakses website ini kayaknya harus berbayar, kecuali Anda sedang persiapan untuk tes IELTS kayak saya. Nah, itu saya dikasih free access selama sebelum tes ya, 22 harian gitu. Sebenarnya udah dari kemarin-kemarin, udah 2 bulanan. Cuma ya kemarin males-malesan sih. Jadi hari ini latihan, besoknya enggak gitu. Jadinya kurang bagus. Nah ini karena tinggal 1 bulan lagi, saya kebut ya, sehari 2 kali. Oke, 1 menit lagi. Penuh belum? Belum 78. Oke, kita mulai teman-teman. Bismillah. Take a mock test. Strict. Start. Buat ini.
This recording is copyright. Test 12. In the IELTS test, you hear some recordings and you have to answer questions on them. You have time to read the instructions and questions and check your work. All recordings are played only once. Now turn to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a man and a woman discussing the installation of a new phone. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now we begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, as the recording is not played twice. Listen carefully to the conversation and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning. My name is Thompson. Is this the right office to organise my phone installation?
That's right. Welcome to Netphone. My name is Linda. Please sit down.
Thanks very much. I've just recently moved into the area and bought a new house, so I need to have a new phone line installed.
That's fine. Okay, let's first start by taking a few personal details down. What's your first name?
It's John. That's John, not Jon.
And you said your surname is Thompson? Is that with an H and a P?
Yes, it's with an H and a P. It's spelled Thompson.
And what is the address of your new house?
It's 14 London Road, Westley. The postcode is WE62FF.
Of course, you don't have a home phone number yet, but can we have a work number or a mobile phone number?
I can give you both. Work is 01836 829 748, and my cell number is 0176 6329 8541.
Sorry, could you say the mobile one again?
Of course, it's 0176 6329 8541.
That's fine, thank you. Have you had a phone connection with us before?
No. Where I lived before, my connection was through Medicom. Is there any chance of keeping my old number?
Where did you live before?
Toronto.
That won't be possible then, I'm afraid. With a change in town comes a change in code, and you can't keep the old Toronto code if you're not there.
Ah, yes. I suppose that's logical.
Now, the usual way to pay is to set up a direct debit payment, so that what you owe will come directly off your bank account each month. Is that okay with you?
That's fine. Will I still receive a bill through the post, though, so I know how much I've spent each month?
Oh, yes. We send out bills each month, unless you'd like to get them by email.
Not right now. With my new job here in Westley, I will need a new email address, and that's not ready right now. Can I change later on?
Yes, you can. You don't even need to come into the office. You can call our helpline for that, or do it online on our website.
Good.
So, let me take your bank details for your direct debit. I'll need your bank's name, the sort code, and your bank account number.
My bank is London Credit. The sort code is 134025, and my account number is 629861753.
Oh, that was a bit fast. Can you say the account number again, please?
It's 629861753.
Thank you. At the end, I'll print out a confirmation for you to sign.
Before the conversation continues, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10.
So, what services will you be wanting? Our most popular service is our Saver deal. With that, you can have your telephone connection and internet services for a monthly fee of $25 and no setup charge.
Well, that sounds like a good deal. I'll try that. What bandwidth do I get each month for that?
It's unlimited. We can also provide cable television as well. Of course, there are a variety of packages that you can choose from, depending on which channels you want.
I won't go for the TV just yet. I might do that later.
So, that's our Saver deal at $25 a month. Do you need an actual phone, as we have a nice selection in our catalog and our engineer can bring it round when he comes for installation?
No thanks. I've got my old phones from my previous house.
Okay. Now, when would you like our engineer to come round and make the installation?
Is it possible during the weekend?
We used to be able to install on Saturday mornings, but the unions didn't like that, so now only on weekdays, I'm afraid.
Can it be done this week?
Let's look. Today's Tuesday the 13th, July. Wednesday's full. But Thursday we can do it at 9 a.m.
Ah, no. I'll have to be at the factory then on Thursday. Any chance late afternoon on Thursday?
I don't think so. No. We had a cancellation at 4:30 p.m. on Friday. How about that?
That should be fine. Let's check. Oh dear. I'll still be in a meeting then. How about an hour later?
Yes, 5:30 is okay. It'll just take an hour, and our engineer's shift that day ends at 6:30 p.m., so that will fit perfectly.
Good. Is there anything else?
I just need you to sign this direct debit agreement that I've printed out. Here you are.
Thank you. That's done. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you for choosing NetPhone.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to Section 2. Section 2. You will hear a woman giving a speech about a charity-run school in Tanzania in Africa. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully to the speech and answer questions 11 to 15.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having invited me here today to speak about something which is very important to me. My name is Janet Rivers, and as you already know from the advertising posters around the building and communal emails, I mean to talk about the Moloto School for Girls in eastern Tanzania. Let me tell you a little bit about the background of our school. Moloto School for Girls has been in operation for only 4 years. It began due to a lucky meeting between Mr. Ben Mwanza, the current teacher at our school, and myself. Mr. Mwanza lives in the town of Mapanda, and he has been saddened for many years about the opportunities for girls in this area. I had been traveling around Tanzania on a budget and found myself stranded in Mapanda as I had missed my bus connection. Mr. Mwanza and I met by chance eating in the same cheap restaurant, and we soon found out that we were both teachers. After several hours of conversation, we had become inspired by mutual idealistic ideas, and I ended up staying a fortnight in Mapanda. There was another year planning, and then we opened our school doors for the first time. Let me now tell you a little about the school. We rent a classroom in a municipal building in the town. Mr. Mwanza teaches a class of 17 girls whose ages range from 12 to 16. Our resources consist of a blackboard and chalk, exercise books, ballpoint pens, textbooks, the enthusiasm of the girls, and the inspiration, imagination, and dedication of Mr. Mwanza. Our pupils do not only come from Mapanda town itself, but also from nearby communities and villages. Many of our girls have outstanding potential, which they showed in their primary education, but they lack the opportunity for secondary education due to a variety of reasons, including poverty, work, motherhood, family opposition, and a lack of secondary facilities in their area. Many of the girls not only depend on us for study at our school, but also for somewhere to stay in Mapanda, as commuting to and from the school every day would be unrealistic. This constitutes quite a remarkable commitment from our girls, as it means they have to live apart from their families, and often their own children, for considerable spans of time. As the family is a central part of society in this area of the world, the separation is a serious thing in the girls' lives.
You now have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the speech and answer questions 16 to 20.
As you can imagine, I am not here today just to inform you about the school, but to ask for money. All money raised goes towards the ongoing operations of our school. Any monies raised will go towards funding the following: Mr. Mwanza's salary, classroom rental, teaching resources such as chalk, books, pens, and textbooks, accommodation for girls staying away from their families, and support for the girls' families. The girls are often the breadwinner in the family, and if we take them away, this creates a hole in the family's finances. The families also often have to be the ones to care for the girls' children, so you can see that the commitment of the families towards their daughters' education is also immense. Our operation is basic. Only one classroom, only one teacher, Only 17 pupils. There are basic materials and there are no computers. Computers are a pipe dream for 10 years in the future. But the future is what we look to. These girls can be the future in their country, and it is their education that can lead them and their families out of poverty and into a life of opportunities. Already 3 of our girls have achieved places at the area capital's university, and we are exploring avenues to continue to give financial support to these girls as their education continues. Now, does anyone have any initial questions?
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3. Section 3. You will hear 3 students discussing their university presentation. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi Pete, hi Carol. Sorry I'm a little late. Have you been waiting long?
No, not really, and we were just chatting until you arrived.
Yes, don't worry. Sit down. Do you want some tea?
No thanks, I just had some.
Then let's get down to business. Now, we've been working for 2 days on this presentation on mining in South America that we have to give. We went away and did separate research into where we can find the best sources of information. We agreed that I would research the books and hard copy journals in the university library.
How did that go?
Fairly well, I think. As far as books go, there are the usual copies of the recommended reading that we were given in our book lists. I've taken out all of the ones I thought relevant on my library card. I'll tell you about them and you can write some notes. We have got Mining in Underdeveloped Countries by Roy Spalding, Mining Development in the 20th Century by Matt Bleacher, and Mineral Exploitation in the South American Continent by Carlos Mendez.
How will they help?
Well, Bleacher's book has got a very good introduction to all major innovations that happened in the mining industry during the 20th century. There's also a chapter on Chile and Argentina, the latter of which is of course particularly relevant to us. Spalding's book is mainly centered on Paraguay and Peru, but there are plenty of passages that could help us. Mendez's book has mainly large chapters on the specific problems that Argentinian mining faced in the past and continue to face now.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, there were 2 others that would be relevant to our section on Argentina. I had to order the first book as the university has to send for it from another university library. It is called The History of Mining in the Argentinian Andes by Timothy Janesco, and it'll arrive in a week.
That'll be the 13th of January. That's only 2 days before our presentation.
That's true, but I had a quick look at an online review, and it will give us some details that we won't have. I think that the detail the book will provide could be the difference between a good grade and an excellent grade. For example, there are short case studies on the gold and silver explorations in the 1930s in the Andes. If we want to get a really good grade, then we will need to give plenty of specific examples to back up our points. Don't worry, I know where to find everything, and I will supply the detail to Tom, who can insert it into the presentation at the right place.
That's good, I suppose, but I don't want to be changing things at the last minute. It would upset my preparation.
Well, we wouldn't want that. Don't worry, we'll make sure it's all fine. The other book is called Iron Ore Deposits in the Argentine Andes by Rob Hall, and I have it here. What is really helpful with this text is that it has lists of all the companies that have attempted to extract iron ore from the Andes and what relative success they have had. It's got all the investment and return on investment figures for all of these enterprises.
That doesn't sound very interesting.
Stop being so negative and obstructive, Tom. Anyway, our aim is to make a fantastic presentation, not necessarily be interesting. Well done, Carol.
Thanks a lot.
You now have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 26 to 30.
So, how did you do, Peter?
Well, as you know, I had to investigate the online journals that the university subscribes to.
Any luck with that?
Well, the magazines I explored were Mining Monthly and the Professional Journal of World Mining. No others were really relevant.
Those sound fascinating.
Not really. However, there was relevant information there.
Excellent. What did you find?
In Mining Monthly, there were 2 articles that were relevant to our presentation. One was a quite old article from July 1954 called Andean Mining. This gave an overview of what kinds of minerals could be found in the Andes and what was being done to extract them. The second one was more modern, from May 2007, and was called A Historical Overview of Mining Techniques Used in Argentina. This gives us invaluable information for our section on how extraction was carried out in Argentina and Chile.
Those 2 will be really helpful. How about the other periodical?
There were also 2 articles here. The first was called Logistical Problems for Miners in South American Mountain Areas, from June 1905. The article covers many countries such as Colombia, Peru, Paraguay and Bolivia, but there are relevant sections for us on Argentina and Chile. As the name suggests, the article discusses mainly logistics issues. It's a shame the article will be a bit out of date now, but it'll be of some relevance.
The 2 articles from the first periodical sounded much better.
Oh yes, but I've already read the June 1905 one though, and noted the important bits, so we won't need to spend any further time on it.
Good.
Finally, I found an article from May 2010 called Metal Ore Deposits in the Chilean and Argentinian Andes. This is really useful for our geographical focus. There are plenty of statistics on metallic deposits and who is trying to extract them. It's bang up to date as well, so that'll solve any problems on that front.
Yes, that's much better. I'm sure our presentation on our countries will be much better than those doing Peru, Colombia, Paraguay and Bolivia.
Oh yes, I think so. How about your research, Tom?
Yes, well, I'm just going to go to the bathroom and then I'll let you know.
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Ya, ini yang ngomong agak beda teman-teman ya. Nggak biasanya, ini kayaknya aksen Kanada ini. Ya nggak apa. Kalau IELTS itu kita harus siap semua aksen teman-teman. Inggris, Australia, Kanada, India. Kalau sekolahan jangan harap lah.
Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture on demographics and trade. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to this lecture on issues affecting demographics and trade. Today we look at the Channel Tunnel, which is a tunnel built between the south of England and the north of France. The Channel Tunnel's construction has been an easy option for travel back and forth between the United Kingdom and the continent. It has also helped to boost what was already a very lucrative second home market in France for British investors, and it is this that will be our area of interest today, after I have given you the background to the building of the tunnel. While the history of the Channel Tunnel is controversial to say the least, it has been identified as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers, and has the longest portion of any tunnel in the world below sea level. It is truly an engineering masterpiece, but few people will know that the first link between France and Britain was actually suggested back in 1802, when Albert Matthews suggested the creation of a towering mid-channel artificial landmass, which would have depended on special horse-drawn carts to ship people between the countries. Before construction commenced, many government ministers in Europe were excited about the opening up of trade, especially France, Belgium, Holland and the United Kingdom, as these countries are closest to where France and the United Kingdom would be connected. However, the latter country's government, the country being an island, was very apprehensive about opening up the country's borders and facing the potential problems which this could have brought. Anyway, the first actual construction of a channel tunnel began in 1974, when work from both the French and the British side commenced. Unfortunately, the British government had a change of mind shortly after work began, and the project was cancelled for financial reasons 2 years later.
1985 was the money breakthrough when consultations started about continuing the project. After 2 years of consideration, the project restarted in 1987 and finally ended in 1993, when the Channel Tunnel was born and connections between France and Britain changed forever.
One of the decisions that had to be made was the route of the tunnel. 2 towns on each side of the tunnel were in the running for being the sites for the French and British entrances for the tunnel. Hythe, in England, had the support of many people, but the bedrock below Folkestone was regarded as more suitable, and so the latter was selected. On the French side, the Hythe-Boulogne route was by far the more popular choice, but after the British Folkestone selection, Calais had to be chosen, as the Folkestone-Calais distance was slightly shorter. Deciding on the company that was to build the Channel Tunnel was a difficult choice. When the detailed submissions were received, it was agreed that Eurotunnel would be awarded the contract. The price tendered was viewed as being very reasonable, but unfortunately the construction cost of the project came in at £4.6 billion, which was actually 80% over the initial budget. It was decided that there would be 3 tunnels under the sea to be used, 2 for transport and 1 for maintenance. In these tunnels, there are 3 services available within the Channel Tunnel, which are the Eurostar passenger train, the Euroshuttle, which is a roll-on, roll-off service for road vehicles, and trains designed to carry freight. There were also many issues with the British and French workers and the methods and equipment which they used. As work began on each side of the channel, the idea was to meet in the middle and then expand into the 2 adjacent tunnels and complete the project. However, the French construction teams and the UK construction teams used different methods to seal the tunnel and protect it from the immense pressure created by the sea above. Even though this worked well in the end, there were major concerns that the 2 methods being used would be incompatible. While the teams on both sides of the tunnel started and finished at the same time, in total, the UK construction teams bored out 84 kilometres of tunnel in total, against just 69 kilometres by the French teams. The UK and French used the same boring machines, though the UK side used 6 of the massive tunnel machines, whereas the French side decided to use 5. On average, the British workers managed to tunnel around 150 metres a week, whereas the French figure was lower at 110 metres a week, although many put this down to the variety of challenging tunnelling conditions.
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Oke, teman-teman.
That is the end of listening test 12.
Kita selesaikan saja. Bismillah. Coba saya munculkan dulu komennya ya. Duh, kayaknya banyak yang salah ini. Oke, banyak yang komen ini. Halo semuanya. Ada siapa aja ini? Baru selesai nih teman-teman. Ngerjakan IELTS online-nya. Ya maaf ya, mungkin banyak yang komen dari tadi. Ya, coba siapa aja yang komen. Oke, Ketumbar, Wardi, Mas Kangkung. Siapa lagi ini? Sebuah Harapan. Alhamdulillah. Anthony, peneliti bidang apa? Saya peneliti di semua bidang keilmuan sosial ya sebenarnya ya. Jadi nggak spesifik lah. Kalau secara ijazah sebenarnya saya bidangnya pendidikan bahasa Inggris ya. Tapi menurut saya kok kalau riset atau pengembangan hanya di bidang pendidikan bahasa Inggris yang tujuannya adalah membuat orang pinter bahasa Inggris saja gitu. Sementara sekarang orang udah pinter belajar bahasa Inggris sendiri ya. Jadi nggak penting ya. Yang paling penting kayaknya pendidikan ya. Pendidikan secara keseluruhan. Itu sih yang pertama. Kalau yang lain juga saya juga tertarik bidang politik, bidang sosial lah intinya. Ya, saya rencana mau bergeser dari pendidikan bahasa Inggris ke pendidikan atau ilmu sosial secara keseluruhan. Part 3 lumayan Pak. Ya, tadi yang part 1 juga saya bingung ya. Kayaknya ada yang kelewatan gitu. Apa nanti kita lihat. Reva Dwipayana, hello sir, halo. Dan ini terutama yang ngomong ini beda kayak biasanya. Saya mungkin karena terbiasa kalau IELTS itu yang ngomong orang British, terutama yang London ya, yang ngomongnya jelas gitu. Dan ini pertama orangnya kayak males banget ngomongnya gitu, gitu. Kalau yang biasanya nggak this part of the test, ya gitu. Jadi semangat gitu. Ini nggak males gitu. Yang naratornya males, terus yang conversation juga males gitu kan. Jadi nadanya gitu kelihatan males. Jadi kita kayak kurang kurang semangat. Ini Dr. Fli, Mas Fikri ajarin aku. Nah ini kan kita belajar bareng ini, Bu Dokter ya. Let's see the answer, sir. Wah ini Mas Reva udah ikutan belajar. Hello Mr. Arifin. Siapa lagi? Ya, yuk kita cek jawaban ya. Yang tadi sudah yang sudah ikut belajar bareng dan ikut ngerjain, kita cek jawabannya ya. Karena sudah ada jawaban, coba kita dari part 1 dulu. Wah, ini banyak banget ini saya. Oke, kita cek yang nomor 1 teman-teman. Jawabannya apa? Jawabannya Thompson. Ya. Ada yang betul jawabannya? Thompson tulisannya begini, Thompson. Nah, kalau Anda lihat, kalau nama itu kan harusnya huruf pertamanya itu kan besar ya. Tapi kalau di IELTS nggak masalah ya. Kayak ini saya T-nya kecil nggak masalah ya. Yang penting spelling ya, spelling atau ininya betul ya. Jadi hurufnya betul semua. Kapital nggak ngaruh Mas. Ya, yang penting betul ya, huruf-hurufnya betul semua. Contoh kalau nggak ada hanya itu salah. I can't see it. Oh ya, bentar ya, karena ada gambar saya ya. Bentar, saya geser lagi. Begini. Oke. Sudah kelihatan? Sudah ya? Oke, saya kebetulan betul. Jadi ada yang betul di sini? Mas Hakim betul? Ya, betul ya. Terus yang telepon itu betul ya. Mudah, ini betul, mudah banget yang ini untuk terutama nomor-nomornya, karena kita cuma disuruh menuliskan 4 atau 3 angka saja ya. Kalau yang lain-lain itu full itu. Jadi semua angka harus kita tulis sendiri. Jadi kalau ini ada berapa angka ini? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 ya. 12 angka harus ditulis biasanya ya di soal-soal yang lain. Kalau ini cuma 3 angka terakhir. Nah, makanya susah. Makanya mudah. Terus yang ini, aduh ini salah. Coba ada yang tahu nggak jawabannya apa? Saya awalnya tadi nulisnya debit. Coba Mas Hakim dan teman-teman yang lain tadi jawabnya apa? Payment method. Tadi agak cepet sih ngomongnya, saya kelewatan. Ada yang bisa? Ditulis di kolom komentar silakan. Singra bro, oke. Nggak ngerti ya berarti Mas ya. Yang lain gimana? Ada yang bisa ngerjakan nomor 3 ini? Tadi ada yang ketutupan gambar saya nggak? Tadi maaf ya, saya lupa tadi untuk menggeser gambar saya. Oke, nggak apa-apa ya. Nah, debitnya betul, tapi ada directnya. Ini saya nggak kedengeran. Tadi sebenarnya saya kayaknya ada kata-kata sebelum debit gitu ya. Ternyata harus ada kata-kata directnya. Oke, nggak apa-apa deh. Ya, direct debit itu istilahnya kayak gini teman-teman. Kalau apa ya? Kalau saya sekarang bayar-bayar, contoh bayar Zoom, terus bayar ini, kemarin tes IELTS ini kan saya pakai kartu debit ya. Yang penting ada logo Mastercard-nya, Mastercard atau Visa. Nah, itu jadi direct debit. Jadi langsung dipotong ininya. Saldo kita ya. Asal ada ininya. Oke, landscape kelihatan my toddler son. Oke, bank name. Nah, ini. Coba di mana cari soal IELTS-nya, Sir? Soalnya gimana ya? Google aja deh, coba. Saya gini ya. Yang mana ya? Coba. Ini karena part 1 ya. Ya saya ini ada di sini sih. Di Google aja ya. Ini saya juga tadi nggak sempat nyariin. Coba ini ada di mana? Yang pasti mereka ini ngambilnya pasti dari Cambridge IELTS ya teman-teman ya. Coba. Sini ada nggak ya? Pastinya ngambil dari IELTS Cambridge ya. Cuma yang mana saya nggak tahu ya. Kan IELTS Cambridge itu udah sampai berapa ya? Coba saya lihat. Udah sampai 19 ya, kalau nggak salah ya. Ya, kalau nggak salah udah Cambridge IELTS 19. Yang British Council ada, Sir. Yang British Council itu gimana maksudnya? Bentar ya. Loading. Nah, kalau pakai live studio itu betul-betul menghabiskan memori, menghabiskan RAM ya. Nah, betul ya. Yang terbaru itu kan Cambridge IELTS 19. Nah, cuma saya nggak tahu yang ini coba ya. Kalau soal yang part 4 general training. Ya, coba teman-teman bisa nggak ada yang nge-Google ya. Nih, coba saya tuliskan di kolom komentar. Part 4 aja. Yang ada judulnya. Bentar ya. Coba ada nggak yang bisa mencarikan ya? Nah, kayaknya tadi ada orang Vietnam yang ikutan. Hello, Vietnamese viewer. Itu ya, coba ada yang bisa ngegooglein nggak? Ya, coba di Google terus kira-kira di IELTS Cambridge berapa gitu ya. Oke. Jadi ini yang betul adalah bank name-nya apa? Oh, ternyata nggak pakai S. Saya pakai S, teman-teman. London Credit nggak pakai S. Aduh. Saya kedengarannya ada S-nya tadi. Oh, salah lagi. Kalau angka aman, saya yakin. 753. Ada yang betul? 753. Nah, ini saya nggak, aduh kelewatan tadi ya, deal chosen itu bukan television. Ada yang tahu nggak apa? Savor. Nah, ini kata-kata ini. Tadi saya dengar kata-kata ini savor, tapi tulisannya kayak gimana saya nggak yakin ya. Ya, ternyata yang betul savor. Ini juga salah. Saya kelewatan banget ini. Bandwidth ya. Coba kita lihat ya, tulisannya gimana. Oh, unlimited ya. It's unlimited. Terus yang ini cable television. Oh, tadi saya kedengeran cable television sebenarnya. Oke, nggak apa. Friday betul ya? Ada yang betul ini Friday? Gampang banget ini yang Friday. Tadi dia ngomongnya macam-macam ya. Awalnya nyebut berapa? Today is Tuesday apa Thursday gitu ya. Hari ini adalah hari apa gitu. Oke, nah ini saya juga kelewatan tadi installation duration. It's 5:30 is okay. It'll just take an hour, so an hour is lah. Kan saya tulisnya 1 hour. 1 hour dengan an hour beda. Alah. 1 hour dengan an hour. Maknanya beda gitu. Ya udahlah ya, yang betul an hour. Saya salah banyak ini. Saya karena kaget ya, aksennya udah beda kayak narrator IELTS biasanya. Biasanya kan British banget ya. Yang ini aneh ini, Canadian ya kayaknya. Jadi saya salah banyak ini teman-teman. Coba berapa? 1, 2, aduh, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wah, part 1 aja udah 6 ya. Apa, coba kita cek lagi. Yang part 2 juga banyak ini yang salah. Nah, ini tadi saya sempat bingung radio sama poster. Saya yang yakin posters itu pasti. Jadi jawabannya antara A sama B. Ya enggak? Ada yang jawabannya betul? B. Nah, terus yang A itu kenapa saya yakin? Enggak terlalu yakin sih sebenarnya. Tadi saya nggak dengar kata-kata radio ya. Kalau email tadi kayaknya samar-samar saya dengar ya. Nah ini loh, ternyata salah guys. Perasaan dia ketemunya karena accident nggak sih? Bentar ya, ini kok nggak bisa dipindahin. Halo, kenapa tidak bisa dipindahin? Sebentar. Tutup. Nah ini dia, saya pindah ke sini. Oke, ini kenapa nih? Bentar ya teman-teman ya, terlalu berat nih, jadinya ngehang. Oke, coba kita lihat. Oh, itu adik Syahir bang, ada sian kayaknya. Coba kita dengar ini. I had been traveling and found myself stranded in Mpanda. Oke, ini kayaknya di Afrika sana ya. And as I had missed my bus connection, berarti kan? Oh bukan. Mr. Mwanza and I meet by chance. eating in the same cheap restaurant. Oh, bukan accident, tapi lebih ke ini. Apa travel? Iya. Salah ya, bukan accident tapi travel problems lebih tepatnya. Masalah dengan perjalanan. Jadi miss bus connection, bukan accident ya. Salah. Oke, ada yang betul nggak ini? Coba ini kok nggak bisa ditutup ya? Ada apa ini? Ya, saya nggak bisa lihat komen Anda ini teman-teman. Coba Mas Hakim bisa komen nggak? Coba saya tes ya. Oh, bisa ternyata. Oke. Kita lanjut ya. Sekarang yang nomor 13. One night ini salah ternyata. I ended up staying a fortnight. Hah? Fortnight? Apa ini fortnight? Ya nggak paham. Nggak paham saya istilah fortnight ini. Coba fortnight itu apa? 2 weeks. Fortnight. Nah. Oh, fortnight itu 14 hari teman-teman. Baru tahu saya istilah fortnight itu. Ya. Jadi ya saya dengernya night aja ya. For night gitu. Sebenarnya tadi saya kira for night ya, 4 malam gitu kan. Tapi fortnight. Fortnight itu ternyata 2 minggu. Wah, baru tahu saya. What is the age? Ini jelas banget yang A ya. Dari fort ya Pak. Ya nggak tahu. Ya fortnight. Jadi fortnight itu istilah untuk dua minggu ya. Fortnight itu coba diingat-ingat teman-teman ya. Itu nggak ada di Indonesia. Dalam bahasa Indonesia 2 minggu apa? Adanya kan 1 minggu. Paling adanya itu ya, apa namanya? Catur bulan ya. Catur bulan itu kan 3 bulan ya. Oke, nggak apa-apa. Ini jelas ya, 15 accommodation. Tadi kan saya kira transport ya. Ternyata memang orang apa siswa-siswanya itu dari jauh-jauh gitu rumahnya ya. Tapi kan nggak mungkin masa apa sekolah menyediakan transportasi untuk pulang pergi gitu ya. Yang paling memungkinkan ya menyediakan penginapan, accommodation ya. Ini betul. Terus tadi jelas sekali salary ya, bukan tadi nggak ada kata-kata teachersnya, dia bilangnya Mr. Mwanzas gitu ya. Nah, Mr. Mwanza itu kan teacher. Jadi Mr. Mwanzas salary. Coba tadi bilangnya gimana? Mr. Mwanzas salary ya kan? Nah, gitu. Terus ini saya agak lost tadi. Coba tadi bilangnya salary, classroom rental, teaching, pens and textbooks, accommodation for girls, boarding school accommodation. Oh, saya kira tadi boarding school itu sinonim dari apa ini namanya, sinonim dari accommodation ya. Ternyata ya tadi saya kepikiran mau nulis accommodation, tapi udahlah. Ya masa biaya untuk apa gadis-gadis asrama kan nggak pas juga. Yang betul accommodation. Yang ini waduh, including their children. Nah ini salah saya. Kedengarannya sih ada including their finances gitu ya. Seharusnya kan to be the ones to care for the girls children. Oh, maksudnya anak-anak dari ini ya. Anak-anak dari siswa. Karena mungkin ini karena konteksnya di Afrika ya. Di Afrika itu kan banyak mama muda gitu ya. Jadi pernikahan dini dan akhirnya punya anak ya, masih umur 15 tahun atau mungkin di bawah 15 tahun udah punya anak gitu ya. Ini menarik ini. Ini belum pernah ini saya mengerjakan soal listening yang kayak gini. Nah, ini betul alhamdulillah. Poverty ya, a life of poverty. Tadi dia bilangnya begini. Their families out of poverty. Nah, ini kan dia bilangnya taking them out of a life of, a life of-nya nggak ada ya, cuma dia bilangnya apa ini, can lead them and their families out of poverty, itu yang adanya out of gitu aja, tapi saya udah yakin oh ya ini poverty maksudnya. Terus yang ini juga financial support, ini hampir aja saya kelewatan. Dia bilangnya begini, to give financial support to these girls as their education continues. Jadi gimana ya, kalian juga harus pakai common sense ya. Jadi ketika mengisi ini, dia kan ada banyak itu kata-kata atau frase-frase yang diucapkan sama si narrator ataupun siapa ini namanya speaker gitu ya. Nah itu ada kata kunci itu coba kalian sesuaikan dengan kalimatnya. Itu ya caranya ya. Kayak tadi saya yang girls ini sebenarnya nggak logis ya, nggak pas gitu. Dan saya agak rancu dengan istilah accommodation. Kalau saya isi accommodation, kan accommodation apa? Asrama itu kan accommodation. Nah, ternyata boarding school accommodation itu yang betul jawabannya. Terus ini juga saya kedengaran ada kata-kata including their finances gitu. Saya kedengaran itu kalau nggak salah. Dan ini nggak sesuai ya, makanya kita dikasih waktu untuk membaca lagi jawaban kita itu. Kenapa? Karena takutnya nggak pas gitu ya dengan logika dari kalimat yang tersedia. Kayak gini kan, support for the girls families. Nah, kalau kita pahami yang namanya keluarga itu kan including their siapa gitu ya. Nah, berarti harus tentang bagian dari keluarga gitu ya. Nah, saya lost tadi ada kata-kata children-nya saya lost ya. Jadi seharusnya kan kalau termasuk keluarga mereka untuk tinggal di asrama, harusnya kalau nggak ibu, bapak, siapa lagi, adik dan seterusnya. Dan yang paling memungkinkan anak gitu kan. Kan nggak mungkin anak ditinggalkan di rumah gitu kan. Jadi sekolah ini menyediakan asrama untuk ibu-ibu muda ini sekaligus sama anak-anaknya. Itu yang paling logis, yang paling memungkinkan. Gitu ya. Gimana Mas Hakim, betul apa enggak? Oke, sudah ya. Ini juga saya banyak salahnya. Belum terbiasa dengan logat yang baru ini ya. Logat Kanada kayaknya. Yang lain gimana? Salah berapa? Saya ini salah 4, sama tadi salah. Oh, ini Mas Hakim poverty betul ya. Bagus. Ini saya tadi salahnya 6 tambah 4 udah 10. Wah, kalau listening atau reading salah kita 10, kemungkinan besar 6 ya. 6. Kalau di bawahnya lagi, nah ini nggak tahu. Ini part 3 kayaknya saya juga salah. Oke, kita coba lihat part 3. Ini juga agak bingung kita ya. Dia loncat-loncat gitu. Dan ngomongnya cepet gitu. Dan agak lemes gitu loh ngomongnya. Kita jadi gimana ya? Oke, yang pertama betul ya. Tadi saya kedengaran ada South America. Awalnya saya tulis South America. Tapi karena ini maksudnya adalah judul buku, jadi kita tunggu dia lagi nyebutin buku gitu ya, judul buku. Dan ternyata yang saya dengar adalah underdeveloped. Tadi awalnya bingung dikasih strip apa enggak ya gitu. Janganlah, amannya nggak usah dikasih strip ya. Ini underdeveloped. Ada yang betul? Mas Hakim betul nggak? Nah ini saya kelewatan sebenarnya. Ngomongnya cepet banget ini. Major innovations. Coba, how will they help? And Carol says, well, Bleacher's book has got a very good introduction to all major innovations. Ya. Ya, ini saya udah miss ya tadinya. Nah, ini saya dengar. Tadi dia bilangnya, Mendes' book has mainly large chapters on the specific problems that Argentinian mining faced in the past and continue. Nah, gitu. Past and continue to face now. Jadi problems ya, specific problems. Terus kalau ditambah spesifik boleh nggak? Boleh juga ya. Ini. Jadi problem saja boleh, spesifik juga, ditambah spesifik juga boleh. Nah, ini juga hampir saya kelewatan case study sini ya. Includes brief. Nah, brief itu kan artinya short ya. Jadi kalian kalau dengar itu cari kata-kata yang sinonim dengan kata-kata setelah atau apa sebelum dan setelahnya. Nah, ini kemungkinan besar dia tidak akan menyebutkan brief. Kemungkinan besar dia akan menyebutkan short gitu. Nah, tadi saya dengar kata-kata short di mana ya? It is called The History of Mining in the Argentinian Andes by Timothy Janesco. Had a quick look at an online review and it will give us some details that we won't have. I think that the detail the book will provide could be the difference between a good grade and an excellent grade. For example, there are short. Oh ya, ya betul tadi ya. Tadi saya bilangnya apa? Short ya. Atau ya sinonim dari brief itu adalah short. Ini ya, short case studies. Mas Hakim gimana? Miss juga ya. Ini juga aduh, saya sebenarnya udah kelewatan ya. Coba tadi dia bilangnya the other book is called Iron Ore Deposits in the Argentine Andes by Rob Hall, and I have it here. What is really helpful with this text is that it has lists of all the companies that have attended. Oh, ini saya sebenarnya udah kelewatan ya. Companies ya. That mine. Oke, nggak apa-apa. Yang ini betul, ini salah. Ini saya udah kelewatan nih. Out of date betul. Problems ini juga saya udah kelewatan. Coba ini hampir aja kelewatan ya. Minerals. Mas Hakim gimana? Minerals. Ya, ini ngomongnya seperti ini. Coba. In Mining Monthly, there were 2 articles that were relevant to our presentation. One was a quiet old article from July 1954 called Andean Mining. This gave an overview of what kinds of minerals could be found. Nah ini ya, what kinds of minerals gitu. Available minerals could be found in the Andes and what was being done. Ya, in the Andes and extraction. Ini kelewatan sebenarnya. Coba kita lihat ya. Nah, saya 7-nya itu udah kedengaran. Tapi ternyata May 2007. Mas Hakim betul apa enggak nih? Coba yang lain yang ngerjakan ada yang betul enggak? Focuses on ini salah. Ya, extraction. Oh, bukan attraction. Extraction ya yang betul. Aduh, kok saya attraction nulisnya ya? Padahal dalam pikiran saya extraction gitu loh. Kok malah attraction? Kalau di pertambangan itu kan ada namanya extraction. Extraction itu apa istilahnya ya? Ya mengambil gitu ya. Ekstrak gitu, ekstrak dari mineral yang mau kita ambil. Please, your sound is included within my mic. Oke. Ini bukan attraction tapi extraction. Extraction ya. Ini diingat-ingat ya. Ini kalau kalian ada soal tentang pertambangan, itu yang betul adalah extraction. Out of date tadi saya bingung antara outdate apa out of date. Terus saya cek lagi ternyata boleh lebih apa tidak boleh lebih dari 3 huruf. Artinya paling banyak itu 3 huruf ya. Out of date itu kan 3 huruf. Nah, jadi boleh. Ya 3 kata. Nah, ya sebenarnya yang paling betul banget ya ada stripnya, tapi nggak pakai strip pun betul ternyata ya. Oke, ini salah, saya udah kelewatan juga. Statistics ya, lots of statistics. Coba tadi bilangnya gimana? I have found an article from May 2010 called Metal Ore Deposits in the Chilean and Argentinian Andes. This is really useful for our geographical focus. There are plenty of statistics. Gitu ya, lots of itu sinonimnya adalah plenty. Oke, jadi lumayan banyak ternyata salahnya. coba kayaknya sih saya dapat 5. Oke, coba kita cek nilainya teman-teman. Nilainya ada di sini. Jreng jreng jreng. Waduh, turun. Berapa ini? 5 sesuai dengan perkiraan saya. Karena itu tadi, karena belum terbiasa dengan logat yang kayak gitu tadi ya. Oke, nggak apa. Gimana? Tadi ada yang sudah ketemu dengan IELTS Cambridge yang berapa yang ada di sini? Ini soal tadi. Oke, nggak apa-apa. Ya, sementara itu teman-teman, mungkin ada yang mau ditanyakan sebelum saya tutup. Silakan. Mas Hakim, cukup ya? Insya Allah besok jam 9, bukan jam 9, ya jam 9 atau jam 10-an, saya juga akan live lagi untuk latihan IELTS online. Insya Allah kalau nggak reading, speaking ya, kemungkinan sih speaking saya. Ya, latihan speaking, bisa lihat saya latihan speakingnya kayak gimana. Speaking saya juga nggak bagus-bagus amat ya. Mungkin ya mudah-mudahan konsisten atau lebih baik ya, 6,5. Saya 2 kali tes IELTS itu 6,5 untuk speaking, dan kalau bisa sih 7 ya, tapi agak susah karena saya masih harus mikir, ada pauses, ada AE ya kan, ada you know. Nah ini yang harus saya latih. Itu sih. Listening marks-nya itu nggak dihitung Pak dari 25. Iya, ini nggak tahu ini kenapa kok nggak jalan ya. Yang listening sama reading saya nggak tahu. Padahal saya udah berapa kali. Nih ya, coba. Saya tes listening 1. Yang mock test ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, bentar. Yang listening aja berapa? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mungkin memang nggak di ini ya. Ya 6 kali untuk listening. Kalau reading 1, 2, 3, 4. Ya udah 4 kali. Nggak tahu kenapa nggak ini ya. Mungkin sebanyak-banyaknya mungkin ya. Nggak apa, lebih enak sih. Dan ini masih 25 kali. Ya gitulah. Jadi coba kita manfaatkan untuk 2 minggu atau 3 mingguan ini kita latihan terus ya. 2 kali dalam 1 hari insya Allah. Ketemu besok insya Allah sekitar jam 9 atau jam 10. Gitu ya. Mas Hakim semangat. Dan saya akhiri, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.